Hello, everybody, and welcome to Talking NFL. It's going to be an NFL podcast where basically I talk about NFL, and I'm going to try and do it weekly. And there's not much more to say about it. Let's get straight into the podcast. So, first subject, we're going to have three subjects to talk about today, and the first one being a controversial one, something that's going around the NFL, and people comparing it to something that happened in 1998 with Scottie Pippen. Yeah, we're talking about Michael Thomas. Now, Michael Thomas has had an injury since last season, and what normal NFL players do is they try and recover through the summer. But Michael Thomas thought, nah, do I really want to stay with the Saints? No, and he enjoyed his summer, which a lot of people think they shouldn't be doing. But I think he shouldn't, and I agree with him. Why would Michael Thomas make this trade move? For me, there's one reason, and the one reason is to win a Super Bowl. It looks like his goal, he could stay with the Saints and put up great numbers each year, and that's what some people want to do, but it looks like Michael Thomas wants to win a Super Bowl, and you're not going to do that with Jameis Winston as your quarterback. So he wants to make a trade move, and people are linking him with the Colts, which for me just doesn't make it's pretty much like going from it doesn't make sense. You're going from the Saints to the Colts, and do you see the Colts winning the Super Bowl anytime soon? I think they're not even favourites to win the division. And look at the Colts; they're in a similar situation to the Saints. A dodgy quarterback that is known to throw interceptions, and a good running game, good offensive line, and I'd say a top 15 defense. The good, but they've got a solid organisation. They've got a good team, but no quarterback. Quarterbacks win Super Bowls. Quarterbacks are the most important part of the team, and if you don't have one, you're not going to win. And especially for a wide receiver, I don't know about you, but if I'm a professional wide receiver, I don't want Carson Wentz throwing the ball to me, because he put some absolute rash decisions. Yeah, people say he still got him in, and when the Super Bowl winning Eagles, he was great. I think it's an off season. I think it's a fluke season. I'm not buying that Carson Wentz is a top quality quarterback. I don't understand why the Colts would go for him. I think you keep Jacoby Brissett, who you know is going to give you solid results. He's not going to turn the ball stupidly. And they've gone and brought in a guy like Carson Wentz, who I'm sure the Eagles would have been more than happy to let go. But the other thing I've got to say is, if I don't understand this move. Maybe he wants more money and the Colts are willing to offer that. There's no doubt that Michael Thomas is a quality wide receiver. But if you're looking to make this move and you want to get a better contract and you want to get to win, I think there's so many better moves that you could go to. And I'm just going to put three up there. Rams have got a couple of decent wide receivers, Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. And I'm sure they would be happy to get rid of one of them for a player like Michael Thomas. And obviously, the problem with the Rams is their wage demands. They are giving big contracts to both Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald, but the quarterback isn't really on that big of a contract. Seahawks, if you've got these three, if you've got Michael Thomas and DK Metcalf and Russell Wilson as a three, I don't see many defenses stopping that. You've got somebody, and there's not many defenses to stop that. Maybe Miami Dolphins. I don't see the Rams stopping it, because the Rams have got really one quality cornerback that can shut one of them down, but the other one will tear them apart. If they look to shut down DK Metcalf and Michael Thomas's route running and sort of real knowledge for the game and speed will tear them down. And if they look to man Michael Thomas, DK Metcalf's physical ability will tear them down. So for me, Michael Thomas is making a stupid move, and you look at the negatives and the positives to this move. The negatives are way higher. He's pretty much He's going from having Aldi specially selected to Lidl specially selected, and maybe he's not gonna. And it's just there's more chance, and there's a chance of him not settling in at the Indianapolis Colts. And he settles in at the Saints perfectly well. He fits with the Saints. I don't know if he's had an argument with the people at head office, but I'm not sure. But anyway, moving on from the dodgy decisions from Michael Thomas to, in my opinion, a great decision for my favourite team, Miami Dolphins, in re-signing Xavier Howard. I think it's a good deal, personally. And people are saying he's overpaid, he shouldn't be the highest cornerback in the NFL. Should be Jalen Ramsey. Now we know Xavier Howard wants to be the highest cornerback in the NFL. This could be a bad thing for a lot of reasons. And this could be a bad thing. It goes down to say there's a lot of cornerbacks in the league that are very, very good. You got Jalen Ramsey, Jay Alexander, Humphreys. There's loads of them. Loads of names. All it takes is one of them to say, he's getting paid that I can. They want a big contract, and there's a very high chance they will do that. And if they do, will Xavier Howard want to get a high contract again, get a high contract again, get a high contract again? If he carries on doing it, then it's going to just carry on decreasing at Miami Dolphins cap space, and that is not a good thing. If it gets beyond ridiculous, you don't sign him on. But if it is reasonable price, you have to sign him on. You have to sign him on. Just think about it logically. Miami Dolphins is defense based on zone and blitz. Xavier Howard is the best zone cornerback in the league. That's going to help you dramatically. Blitz. Xavier Howard is second best behind Jalen Ramsey. And also, Miami Dolphins, if they win a Super Bowl, you know they're winning it, and it's a guarantee they're going to win it on defense. And having a player like Xavier Howard, I think they're going to help you win on defense, and that is safe to say. That is safe to say. The other thing you've got to think about is Xavier Howard helps everybody around him. Miami Dolphins have took a similar pathway in their drafts last couple of years in drafting people in the secondary in between late first round and early second round. And they've done it 3 times. And they've done it loads of times. First time was with Noah Igbinoghene. Next time with Javon Holland. Both quality players. And Xavier Howard has got that adaptability. So does Noah Igbinoghene. So does Javon Holland. The NFL scouters for the draft was using the word versatility. And that is what his defense is based on. And I feel like Xavier Howard is the most versatile defender in the NFL. And there's no way of putting it. He's crucial to the Miami Dolphins, so you sign him on. For me, he's the most crucial player in the whole team. Nah, maybe Tua could be there, but he's second most crucial player in the whole team. So you give him a massive contract. That's the way that I'm looking at it. You can look at it in different ways and say overpaid. People do overpay, but the reward you're getting from this, you could say overpayment, and I say that in quotation marks, is for me worth it. Now we're going to move on to something that the main sort of thing about this podcast, the most improved team in each division, and it sort of seems fitting. We're going into the NFL season. We've gone past the off-season, and the off-season is all about improving your team, getting better for the next season, trying to get to a place where you can hold that Vince Lombardi trophy in your arms. And we're going to be starting off with my favourite team's division, Miami, and I think they are the most improved team. People are not going to be happy with this, especially Jets fans. Jets fans think, we drafted a quarterback. We drafted a quarterback this year. We had a great job. No. Most important position in the team is quarterback. And if you're picking at second overall, Zach Wilson, who has not played a top 10 college team, he's been playing a bunch of dilly teams in the college, and you think he's going to make an absolutely enormous jump into the NFL, playing against Miami Dolphins, who is one of the best defenses in the league, Buffalo Bills, who's another one of the best defenses in the league, and a defense coached by the best coach of all time, you think that he can cope with that? Absolutely not. For me, this draft pick doesn't make any sense at all. There's loads of people there that you could take above him, and the two I'm going to suggest is Trey Lance and Justin Fields. The reason I'm not suggesting Mac Jones is the reason I've not put Patriots at this number 1 spot. Patriots had an outstanding free agency, but not getting a quarterback that I really don't rate the guy. I think he's a risky move as well. Obviously, he's played top 10 teams, but he's been working with arguably one of the best offenses in college history. So he's obviously gonna get some good stats on there. But going back to the Jets, it doesn't make sense. Everything else about that offseason has been top notch. Wide receiver, they've improved wide receivers drastically. Corey Davis, solid. Elijah Moore, very solid as well. But not getting a quarterback, Zach Wilson is a risk, and for me, taking risks at quarterback, yeah, it could be suitable. Tua was, yeah, he's a risk, but he's not as big as a risk as this. Getting players that have been injured, yes, a risk, but you know they're proven. This guy is not proven. There is a 30% chance he's going to be a good quarterback, and a 70% chance he's going to be a bust like their last quarterback they picked, Sam Darnold. And with the Jets scouting team, I'd back him to be a bust. And then obviously the Bills, not made much. They don't need to do much. They just need to make slight positive adjustments that can sort of bolster them up to win the Super Bowl. I don't back them to. When there's a team like the Chiefs in the AFC and the Bills, there's nothing special about the Bills really, is there? They're just a good fundamental team and they know what to do. And if they keep on going the way they're going, yeah, they'll be a solid team, but I don't back them to win the Super Bowl. However, Miami taking steps in the right direction all the time. Look at the draft they've had. Jalen Waddle improved their wide receiver drastically. So does Will Fuller. And then next pick, Gregory Rousseau, who was next pick. They were thinking we could take Quiddy, we could take Gregory Rousseau, but they took Jalen Phillips, a man of the home state, and it makes sense. It was the most position we need. And then you go into the second round and pick Javon Holland, who is a versatile player. And then Liam Eichenberg, who's a solid offensive lineman, makes sense again. Hunter Long was a bit questionable, but everything about this offseason is going in the right direction. I've read an article that Miami are playing chess. That it's like Miami are playing chess while everybody else is playing Monopoly. And I can relate. Miami's GM build him a statue. Build him a statue, honestly. I'd back this to be one of the best rebuilds in history. Maybe behind Dallas Cowboys with Jimmy Johnson, but still, it is just great stuff from Miami Dolphins. Now, moving on to the AFC South, and that was a one-way competition. Jacksonville Jaguars. They've brought in Trevor Lawrence, which is, they're saying he's a 1 in a million quarterback. He could be. And getting a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence, there's a high chance he will succeed. And hopefully he does. I really hope he does for the Jaguars franchise. And you move on from that. Drafting Travis Etienne was questionable, I admit. But if you look at it in a long spectrum, Travis Etienne and James Robinson, right now, they are the best dual threat running back in the league. And Travis Etienne's not played a game in the whole season. Having those two in your running game, and they can both receive passes as well, it's really nice fundamentals. And I've used this word before for the Bills. But if you've got a good running game, there's a chance that you know you're going to get points on that. A good running game and a good defense is capable of winning championships. You've seen it with the Seahawks. Seahawks won a championship based on good defense and Marshawn Lynch. And there's no reason nobody else can do it. People saying in the modern era, you can't. Why Jacksonville Jaguars being tipped to win Why are Baltimore Ravens being tipped to win the Super Bowl? Why are LA Rams being tipped to win the Super Bowl? That's what they do. So there's no reason the Jaguars can't. So I think it's been a great off-season for the Jaguars. But then the other thing I've got to talk about is their contention isn't really that much. Colts didn't do that much. And Houston Texans, they are the worst team in the NFL. And then you look at the Titans. Titans lost a lot of people in free agency. People like Jadeveon Clowney, Malcolm Butler, Adam Humphries, Corey Davis, Adoree Jackson. They had a solid draft. Bud Dupree, good addition. But Julio Jones, people are saying it's good. I don't think it is. Julio Jones is a stupid trade. Because the only reason you're gonna give up a lot of money and not that much draft capital, but still it is draft capital for a 32-year-old wide receiver is if you know in the next 2 seasons you are in contention for winning a Super Bowl. There's no way Tennessee Titans are in contention for winning a Super Bowl. So why would you get him? It's a waste of cap space. For me, right now, Tennessee Titans get 2 more seasons of going. They could get 2 more seasons of going 8-8 to 10-6, or they could start the rebuild now and be in a better position to come on top when Patrick Mahomes' era ends. It just that's what makes sense in my opinion. That's what makes sense. But now we move on to the AFC North, and there's only one choice again: Bengals. It has to be the Bengals. Nobody else really did anything in that league. Bengals, Jamar Chase, that's all they did as well. But Jamar Chase, and obviously there is other draft picks. When I say that's all they did, I mean notable additions. I mean notable additions. But Jamar Chase has to be said. Him and Joe Burrow, they connected well. I don't see why they wouldn't connect well in the NFL. And add that to T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd is a solid passing offense. But you've got to say this division looks very strong. Ravens, great running team, great defense. Cleveland, great running team, great defense. Pittsburgh, obviously, we're still to see their running team provide, but I think the J House could do that. And defense solid, but big losses in Bud Dupree, I think. And Big Ben, good quarterback. They've got a lot of good quarterbacks in this division. That's what you got to think about. Joe Burrow, good. And NFL made a video on it. Best like I think it was best quarterbacks in each league, or something. They were ranking leagues by the quarterback. This league was on top one for good reason. Joe Burrow looked like a good quarterback last year. Lamar Jackson, obviously one of the top quarterbacks in the league. Big Ben, proven, won a Super Bowl. Baker Mayfield is now one of the good quarterbacks in the league. But now move on. I'm in the AFC West, and again, not much to choose from. Best of a bad group. But it's the Chargers, AFC Chargers. They had a good draft, not amazing, but they brought in Rashawn Slater, who people were tipping the best offensive lineman in the draft. Getting him in the team is obviously going to help, and a good cornerback in Asante Samuel Jr. is going to help their team. They're taking baby steps to being a good team, and the baby steps they're going in the good direction. And Justin Herbert was a great pickup last year. But then Chiefs, they didn't need to do anything, so they didn't. Just make slight little moves to keep them refreshing, keep them on top for as long as possible. And the Raiders and the Broncos, they need a quarterback, didn't get one, so they cannot be in that top spot. If you need a quarterback, realistically you should go for one. Obviously, people say Broncos got Teddy Bridgewater. No, that's not how you're looking at it. If he was really a franchise quarterback, why would Carolina Panthers get rid of him for Sam Darnold? We're talking about Sam Darnold here. We're talking about Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, for God's sake. He's tipped to be the next actor of Ghostbusters. Come on. And then moving on to NFC now, NFC East. I'm going to say Dallas. Dallas's weakness last year was defense, and they used 8 of their 11 draft picks on defense. What more can you need? You'd think in your head 3 of them will come out to be good starters for the Dallas Cowboys, and their offense was always strong. Getting Dak back is going to help if Zeke's performance at his best it can be, and you got Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, all solid players. And then, so the defense was the thing that needed improving, and I'd say it has been. The Giants and the Eagles didn't do much, but they have both. That I think they've picked some good wide receivers in Devontae Smith and Kadarius Toney. And in Washington didn't get quarterback. They say he got Fitzmagic, but I get to this point again. If Fitzmagic was a franchise quarterback, why would Dolphins get rid of him? That's all I've got to say in the NFC East. NFC South, Atlanta, bad, best out of bad bunch again. Atlanta, simply because of Kyle Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts has the ability to tear up the NFL, and simply because he's a freak of nature. He's like DK Metcalf and Derrick Henry. He's built like a wide receiver playing at tight end. If a free safety and a strong safety, which I call them B-Tech cornerbacks, seeing Kyle Pitts running at you, if they've not got skid marks on their trousers at the end of the game, I don't know what gives them skid marks. But then Saints, Carolina, they needed a quarterback, didn't get one. Ninja quarterback didn't get one, and then obviously Tampa Bay don't need to do much. They can't really be improved that much. That's what. And then we go into the NFC North, and I'm gonna do NFC North and NFC West together because the NFC North and NFC West are so similar for the two guys. Chicago and San Francisco. Chicago and San Francisco, they're both good organizations. They really are, and all their positions were good, but questionable quarterbacks. That's what you've got to say. Mitchell Trubisky, they gave him time. That's you've got to give credit to the Bears. They did give him time, but he didn't produce at the level they thought they would. And then Jimmy Garoppolo, he was good, but one off season, and they're looking at a new quarterback, and it was understandable. They had a terrible season. They benched him, and yeah. So they brought in Trey Lance, who I think is a good addition. Out of the 5 quarterbacks in the draft, I'd say that I think he's second best. And getting him in your team, that's gonna help them a lot. And same with the Bears, they missed on a quarterback. Everything else about the team is solid, and they got Justin Fields, who I think is the 3rd best, and they managed to get him at 9th, which is a steal. Absolutely, not even 9th, 11th, which is a steal for me. So you've got to be happy with those two things. But then obviously we'll go back to NFC North. Minnesota did nothing. But Green Bay, they've just been able to keep Aaron Rodgers. But then Detroit, I think Detroit had a good offseason. Looking at overall, Penny Sewell, that's a good pick. That is a very good pick, especially getting him at 7. They've got to be chuffed with that. He was back to got 5th, maybe even 4th, maybe even 3rd. People were backing him at 5. That was a really starting mock draft. And I've managed to get on 7th. And the Aaron Goff trade, I'm not against it. No, Jared Goff, sorry. I'm not against it. I'm not fully against it. Getting rid of the old, in with the new. I like that concept. I like that idea, but it's a good trade. But Jared Goff is not a franchise quarterback. That's what you've got to remember. He's not going to stay with them for a franchise. I'm not going to win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. For me, it's about getting rid of Matt Stafford's big wage demands and bringing in a guy like Jared Goff who he's not really rated, so he's not going to be on big wages. It makes sense. It's a good trade in my opinion. Now, moving on back to the other teams in the NFC West, and you got you got to say Seahawks. Did they do that much? Seahawks didn't do that much. Rams, they got Matt Stafford in. That's realistically it. And the other team that's on it, they don't need to do anything. They don't need to. So that's my roundup. Let me just go through the teams once again. In the AFC East is Miami, AFC South is Jacksonville, AFC North is Bengals, AFC West is Chargers, NFC East Dallas Cowboys, and NFC South is Atlanta, NFC North is Chicago, and NFC West is San Francisco. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be coming back with similar style content, maybe not the same headlines, next week.